Hello, I'm Otto, and welcome to episode 25 of my Factorio post-novice guide. So in the last episode, we corrected a bunch of stuff on our, well, not corrected, but we kind of set this little combinator up to kind of prevent ourselves from scrapping too much. I actually made a little bit of a mistake in here. These all should have been less than. So let's just fix that real quick. Yeah, so in this episode, we are going to be making some rocket fuel. Not rocket fuel. We're going to be making some light oil from heavy oil. Thankfully, the planet gives us plenty of that. We just need a little bit of extra water, and thankfully we have plenty of that now. That should be enough. This is twice as much water as we will need once the ice starts coming in. This is, I think we only need like, I don't know, 70 something per second. I used Factorio Lab to kind of, I set it up to show what the ingredients would be or what would be necessary for 5 EM science per second, which is kind of what we're aiming for, since that's double what we would be making on novice for, like, say, red science or, I don't know, military science, I think. Because we're producing about 2.5 per second for instance, the red right now. Anyways, so we need to make some light oil. So for light oil, we need chemical plants. I am going to recess this back. I did not initially recess this one back, but during the last episode, we did move that back. I also had some mistakes. So someone's probably already commented on the video from yesterday and been like, oh, I did have these set up here, and I made the same exact mistake that I made on Volcanus and did not have water coming into some of these, so that has been corrected. I actually, if you look at this, the thumbnail from this episode, I actually had it corrected in the thumbnail, so yeah, that was one mistake, and I think that was it. Oh, I said I was going to continue this off camera, and I will continue to do that each episode. So I have now set up a perimeter to allow for collecting from these little islands that have loads of scrap. And like I said, I'm gonna tap a lot of these. I don't know how many. I'm gonna have 2 trains set up per, so bare minimum I would like to get 4 of these tapped. Ideally we would have more, so it is very much possible that I get some of these easier ones. Like this one's gonna be an easy one, this one's gonna be an easy one. I could even go up here, or even some of these that have, like the bigger ones, that the bigger islands that have just a little bit of scrap, I could tap those too, and I don't know, use some productivity modules in my miners to kind of increase the longevity of their stay on the island. This one's definitely going to be an easier one too. Anywhere that has, well, because the reason why I say that is because you kind of need a landing spot, right? So that's the tough part with these, is you have to be able to place. Let me use an example over here. So you have to be able to place this in a way that will allow you to enter and exit. Thankfully, you can build these on top of the light sections, at least until you unlock the, whatchamacallit, the rail support foundations, which allow you to build on the deep parts of the ocean, which I unlocked 2 episodes ago. Anyways, we need to get some light oil. So let's see what we're going to need for that. So for light oil, we've kind of done this before. We need heavy oil, the heavy oil cracking recipe, because we are going to be bringing in some heavy oil from offshores. We also need to get rid of some of these. All right, because we're just going to be bringing heavy oil in from the back. Okay, so water. Well, that was easy. All right, problem solved. We actually don't need that much light oil either. As a matter of fact, that's probably, if I remember right, I think we needed less than 60 per second. So this is literally everything that we need for light oil. Obviously, we have other light oil uses besides the pink science, the electromagnetic science, so we will be creating more than this. So let's just, you know, get a little bit more than this. That is not going to go all the way out. Yep, I knew it. Okay, so we need to bring in some water, obviously, which we kind of have right there. So I'm going to flip every other one of these, and I'm going to line these up here. Oh, my poor bots. I still need to, like, honestly, I need to move every bit of storage that I have over here somewhere. Or at least in a more central location. Somewhere that's maybe going to be kind of useless. Like some of this area around the water is kind of like, this is actually a really good useless area. I could totally bring some stuff over here, but I have not gotten around to doing that yet. I think I'm actually going to use the water here. Nope. Oh no. I know I've trapped myself. All right. Okay, so that takes care of water. Now we need heavy oil. That will obviously be pretty easy. I still have not gone around and added a bunch of these. It is what it is. I mean, it's literally this simple. Just go around with a little blueprint like this. You would probably want to get rid of all the cliff explosives so that you could have them as far out as possible. Actually, one like this would have been great, but now we have to... Do I have any of these on me? Oh, nice. So once I end up doing that, that's how I'm gonna go about doing that. Okay, so we need, like, we obviously didn't need 2 of these, but you know what? It's free. These don't, the offshore pumps don't use electricity, so yeah, we're good to go. Okay, so now all we need is power. And I like how, like, we're very limited for space on Fulgora, but these are still expandable. Like, I could totally duplicate this if I needed further back. Same with the water, same with the light oil. If we find that this is not enough, well, we can just add to it back here, right? So, nope, this one. Rip. All right, this should be plenty of room. Plenty enough. Okay, so that is going to be our light oil. Light oil will go... we'll just put it right next to the... What is this? Oh, that is not water. That is water. Okay, so we'll just put it right next to the Holmium solution. And now light oil is good. So what is next? I think we need to make some Holmium plate. So Holmium plate we're going to put on the bus. We're actually going to have Holmium plate on the bus. We're going to have superconductors on the bus, and we're going to have supercapacitors on the bus. We're also adding, basically all of these are going to be on the bus for at least a certain amount of time. So Holmium plate, like I said, we needed 4 of these 2, so that will be on there. And we will continue it on until we get to the point where we can make these off of the bus somewhere. I haven't decided on how we're going to manage that, or if we're just going to allow maybe Holmium plate to go down, like on the bus, like farther down, which would mean that whatever is on the bus is kind of basically like storage. Anyways, so we're going to do that over here. So for the Holmium plate, we need foundries. And all we need is Holmium solution. So that is this line here. Get these guys extended out some. And we are going to, I'm probably going to have, I don't know if because we're a little bit more constrained for space here, I don't know if I want to have, we might as well just make the full city block available for the Holmium plate. And you can obviously see that this is very, okay, we are not making, I completely forgot this stuff, like, this crafts a lot. We don't need, I mean, we just need a very, very tiny space for this. We need room for a belt. And okay, so here's another thing. Like, a lot of people have, like, one of the critiques that I've had is, and it hasn't been that many people that have critiqued this, and like, this is way, way overproducing. It is completely fine to overproduce. The reason why, and I prefer to overproduce, is like, let's say we're making 6 per second per machine. Like, I don't know how many we need off the top of my head, but let's say we only needed one of these machines. If that was the case, when we're putting these on the belt, as it's being consumed, only one of these for the most part is going to be producing. So what it does is it kind of helps out if there is a situation where all of a sudden you need a massive burst of more of the materials. You have the capacity to back that up. The only downside is over on the right hand side, the minimum consumption is 83.33 kilowatts. That's not a big deal, considering that while it's actively in use, it's using 2.58 megawatts. And honestly, the loss in Holmium solution is not that big of a deal either, because like, it's going to eventually get used. Like, we could have 100 of these and it wouldn't even matter, because at some point they're going to saturate, and then they will just be able to produce the Holmium plate. I mean, obviously I would never put 100 on there, but you kind of get the idea. Like, it's not a big deal to have extra. And here again, like, these are making a ton. We could actually have, what is that? 6 per second. So we would need, what, 10 of these to fill up a full green belt? I'm not going to do that, but we very well could, and we have plenty of space to do that. As you can see, there's plenty enough room to have 5 on this side and 5 on this side, and that's probably going to be fine. I think that I'll leave this to be able to have, how much could I have back here? Was that 7 per side? So 14 total. I mean, I guess if you really wanted to, you could scooch out here a little bit, because we're going to have some extra space, but I tend to prefer to leave whatever area that we're making a bus, I tend to prefer to leave that open as much as possible. The only thing that I kind of put in the bus area is maybe some storage every now and then. I did that on Novice, and it seems to have worked out. Somewhere near our rockets are here. So, like, I collected electric engines here. There was probably some steel near here too. Yep, steel right here. LDS and blue circuits. So I did have those kind of close by. Red circuits here, green circuits here. And that was because the rockets were here. That's the main reason why I did that. Anyways, moving along. So we need to bring in some Holmium solution. I think I'm maybe just gonna, this isn't gonna reach all the way. I'm just gonna connect them like this. And then that will allow us to only have one of them coming out. I'm not going to do it on this side because that lines up on a, I don't know, underground pipe seam. We will do it from here. My poor bots. My goodness. So Holmium solution was the middle option. And now all we need is power. Whoops. Okay, so that will overlap. So we could have this on this side and this on this side. And then if we ever needed to, we could just bring that back. I don't know, something like that. And now we have a lot of that space. Okay, another one down. Let's see, outside of... So what can we use holmium plate for? So we need the superconductors. Next, we need light oil, which we have. We need holmium plate, which we have. Plastic and copper plate is a secondary recycling item. So that is coming from largely these 8 here in the middle. If we find later on that we are not producing enough either plastic or copper plate or both, we could always just slowly add some of these, like just copy a section like this and add that down the line. Or we could cut all of these and move them up and maybe go at it like that. You know what? And whenever I made these, I probably could have left, like I probably could have moved these 16 forward all the way up and then left room just in case we needed more. But these will probably not produce, like even if we had, so this is 8, even if we had like 10, they might not produce as much because basically 4 per belt is enough to grab everything that you need off the belt. So basically all of these are going to be just funneling into these and that's it. And these are going to be producing the main items that we need. I guess the first round of recycling. Anyways, so we would probably just add these guys up here if we needed more copper or plastic. Another option which I have very, very mixed feelings about is importing plastic. Because let's be real, plastic is going to be the one that kills us. We could also always produce plastic on the planet. We could pull heavy oil out from here, convert it into light oil into petroleum gas, and the coal would obviously be an issue, but I also would never go the route of creating carbon from, what is it, sulfuric acid, because then we would need sulfur from petroleum gas. Yeah, we're not, okay. That's basically that's a non-option. We're not importing dirt cheap coal from anywhere to make plastic here. So we would probably just maybe import plastic if we absolutely had to. And again, I have mixed feelings about that. So same with copper plate, but we're probably going to have a lot more copper plate than plastic. So that's not going to be an issue either. Your dependent, or your, like, whether or not you have enough copper plate really kind of boils down to, let me go back to Factoriopedia, really kind of boils down to your scrap recycling. You end up getting copper plate from, mostly from LDS, because the only thing that we need LDS for on this planet is maybe creating some power armor too, if we want to try to rank up our mech armor, because it requires power armor rank 2 to make the mech armor. And we need it for rocket parts, and that's about it. So any, like the vast majority of that is going to be just complete, you know, completely broken down. And considering that it costs 20 copper plates to create it, we get quite a bit of copper plates every time we recycle an LDS. But the other option is from the, where did it go? From the copper cable. Copper cable gives you 1 copper plate every time it's destroyed, and that largely depends on, are you creating your power poles on this planet or not? And I guess to some degree, are you creating some green circuits from base materials? Or, I mean, I would never create red circuits on this planet, but green circuits are probably the one. If we end up creating anything, it would be green circuits. And we're not doing that on the bus. That would be, I don't know, like bot mall stuff. Oh, and I made another mistake that I made was I used the bot mall to place some accumulators. And I was like, okay, that was a bad idea. So I moved those over here. Those are now crafting with quality. And we are getting quite a few of the quality items, which is very nice. At some point, we will end up, like once this like really starts to fill up with quality, we would either start to upcycle the green quality ones to try to get more blues, or we would just take the quality out completely and just let it go. We're also getting a lot of this type of stuff. That is a non-issue at the moment because we have storage. Once we get to a certain point, there are a lot of things that we can just use only iron for. I'm not really too concerned with it at the moment, but I really would like to actually get around to making inserters on the planet here. It is becoming a problem shipping it in, and we have the ability and the materials. So anyways, moving along, rant over. Yeah, superconductors. So let's get this. We need electromagnetic plants, EM plants, which I do not have on my bars conveniently. I'm going to remove the oil refinery. And I do not have any on me. Perfect. I was editing yesterday's video and I was just kind of laughing. Like, so one of the, I don't know, almost like meme-like items that I kind of feel like will be a thing is that quote unquote everything is copper. Like I just call everything copper, and I've definitely done that. I think I said something about we need to get copper plate from Iron Gears in an episode like a couple of days ago, and yesterday it was, oh my gosh, what was the mistake? The verbal mistake. Oh, now I can't even remember. Anyways, I think it had to do with whatever. I don't remember. It was funny though. I was like laughing to myself. I was like, really? Like, anyways, electromagnetic plants, EM plants. Okay. I don't think we're going to be able to fit this in this area because we have a ton of stuff to add to it. And we could actually probably make some electrolyte here though. I could bring this holmium ore along. Heavy oil is easy. It's just out the back. Stone is off to the side here. Can I squeeze in? Oof. I am not going to be able to have that and this together. No. Unless I recess it past this. All right, well. What if I had this in a more central location? Again, the holmium solution could just come in from right here, I believe. Just tap that guy there and move it along. I would still need to bring in heavy oil. We'll get from the back. This would export this way. Oh wait, what am I thinking? We're not export. Okay, well, I would rather have this. Of course, I can just make a single line of it. What was I thinking? So this is the perfect item to fit here. Nope. All right, I'm just gonna vertically flip every other to make sure that these pipes line up, and then rotate them until the electrolyte lines up. Same thing. Like, we don't need this much electrolyte. As a matter of fact, it's probably nowhere near Like, we don't need anything near this. The EM Science needs 5 per second. Oh, actually, we would probably need more than this. We did 10 of these. Let's say we did 10 of these. That's 60 per second. That might not actually be enough. Oh, wow. Let's say, obviously I have not planned out this build, but let's say that we did something like this. Is this an option? Let's take a look. Well, I suppose we could do this. And it's already covered by the power. Oh, no, we needed the stone. Okay, all right, well. It was worth reasoning. Anyways, moving along. I am definitely not going to forget the inserters this time. Okay, so that's going to be making us 36 per second. We will probably need more. That's fine. Oh man, if I just did this, removing these things, that would have been plenty. I really like the idea of expanding. Oh, come on. Easy expansion. Let's put it that way. Worst case scenario, we can use the medium electric power poles, and that will get us through this section here. Obviously, we do not have room for that, but we would need to put some underground belts. All right, let's just see how this is going to work. Not cut. I'm going to vertically flip. I think that will do. All right, works for me. Okay, so now we just need to get in some stone. We have the holmium ore coming, or holmium solution coming from here, being tagged from these guys, or being pulled off from these guys. Okay, so I have this little blueprint that's going to get us in the stone, kind of. Just make it easier for this part here. So we're going to filter this for stone. And the concepts that I was mentioning earlier about like if we only needed one of these, but we have 4 and it's only going to be producing 1 at the end of the day, the same kind of thing happens here. Like at some point, some of these machines are going to stop needing stone. They will back up and then the stone will be allowed to continue on. So then these would eventually get what they need. So it's not like this is going to be stealing a lot of stone early on. That's okay. We will eventually get some stone here. And if we don't have that happen, like if that's not the case, if this guy never gets any stone, well, then these guys are just going to stop producing at some point anyways, because the Holmium solution will just not, it doesn't just infinitely craft into the void, right? So it's all kind of like a pressure system. It all kind of works itself out. Let's just put it that way. Okay, so we've gotten another 3 things down. We got light oil going. We got Holmium plate. Obviously, it's not actively going, but you know what I mean. The option is there once we turn this guy on. So in the next episode, or in between the next episode, I'm going to get hopefully two more of these set up. Some of these satellite bases or satellite mining areas for the scrap. And I think after that, we're going to try turning it on. I still think it's a little bit of a bad idea doing it this early. I would rather have a lot more of this set up. Maybe we'll see if we can like hammer out a bunch in the next episode. And after that, we're actually going to be really close. Like once we get to science, that's kind of the end point. Like once we get to science, then it kind of doesn't matter if we continue to scrap stuff, even though we will need more stuff later. We definitely want to get through the science. That's the kind of goal. As long as we have science going, all the rest doesn't matter. I mean, you could even you don't even need to use this island. There's some bigger islands. There's a bigger island down here. There's a bigger island over here. And I think there's one, not this one, maybe this one. Yeah. You could always have a completely separate scrap processing area, do some of this stuff and ignore the science and use all of that for other items. You could, eventually, if we don't have enough of the Holmium ore, you could definitely supplement that by processing. Like, let's say you just took this island here and just said, you know what? Everything coming out of this island is going to be like, we're going to bring in some scrap and we're going to just make it so that we're processing through, the Holmium. All we're aiming for is Holmium ore. All the rest can just, go bye-bye. That is an option too. That is probably the main way that you might funnel in some Holmium ore, is just find a satellite island somewhere and just go with it. Don't even think about it. Just trash everything. So, yeah, that's going to be it for me for this episode. If you've been enjoying my content, then do me a favor and hit the like button. That actually does help. It is significantly noticeable whenever I have a video with more likes. They tend to get more, it's, hard to say the correlation there, but, generally I do see the likes first and then the impressions follow. So, you know what? It definitely helps out. Yeah. So, like I said, in the next episode, we're going to continue on with our Fulgora bus. Thankfully, it has not been as bad of an idea as I thought it was going to be. This is working out great. Yeah, so that's going to be it for me. I will see you in the next episode, and thanks for watching.